Hello, everyone. How's it going? This is Jesse from Play Curious, and today I'm going to do something a little different. Normally, we've been doing these. I've been doing these coding challenges where I've been giving myself an hour to try to make a game within an hour. That's usually kind of a classic game, and with the idea of doing something where we're trying to kind of recreate a classic game using. So I'm just checking my mic levels are a little hot. Let me slow this down a little bit. I'm too hot. All right. Hold on a second. Or maybe this is better. Let's try it like that. Yeah, so like I was saying, usually I've been trying to do something where I've been kind of recreating maybe a classic arcade game using a game engine we created called Booyah, all done in TypeScript for the web browser, but you can also put it on mobile. That's cool. I really like doing that. But I have to say, recently, my attention has really been turned to the crazy explosion of artificial intelligence. AI has just gone nuts recently, and kind of very scary ways to me. I have to be honest. It's kind of scary. It's also very exciting, obviously. Kind of depends how you think about it. I think the part of me that's sort of attached to the world of, hey, I'm a developer. I can kind of do cool things. I can always find a job coding no matter what, because those people are always going to be in demand. That part of me is kind of scared. And the part of me that's like, oh, this is, imagine the things you can do. You can create things that normally you could never do by yourself. That part of me is really excited. So I have both those things going on, kind of as a little way to deal with that tension. I thought it'd be fun to at least start playing around with it a little bit to see how it goes. Because, I've mostly been reading a lot about it, but I haven't necessarily done much in it so far. So that's what I want to do today. Hello, Belzorium. How's it going? Thanks for stopping by. What was I saying? So I guess that's what I want to do today. I wanted to kind of put aside a little bit what I've been doing with Booyah for this stream and just say, okay, let's try to make a kind of cool game using ChatGPT in a very simple way. And I'm going to also try as much as possible to go against what I'm used to, which is programming everything by hand and saying, I'm going to try to see if I could use ChatGPT to do the programming as well, right? And that's kind of cool. So there are some kind of downsides to this approach. Like, we're using this ChatGPT, we're using it as first of all, we can't actually put out a game with it in a commercial sense because it's all non-commercial right now. Maybe it isn't if you pay them or something, but that's not the case for me. Also, this is trained on a lot of data that I don't know if necessarily they had the right to scrape when they when they did that. So I think there's also possibly a restriction there. But it's a good way to get started. Also, there's probably going to be a lag as I'm kind of doing things because I have to wait for ChatGPT to answer stuff back. But hopefully that won't be too bad. So we'll see. I really am very new to this. I just kind of played around with it a little bit last night. That's kind of it. We always need developers to maintain these AIs. Yeah, maybe until the other day I was listening to a podcast and they're talking about pretty soon probably we'll have AIs to improve the AIs. So I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure. This could play out a lot of different ways. It could be that AI turns into a thing that we developers use and it makes us more productive, and maybe there's less developers, but there's still like a decent number. You could also imagine a world where development is kind of maybe sort of goes away as a thing. And someone gave the example of kind of like journalists and editors, like typically like in, let's say, a magazine or a newspaper or an online publication today, you might have like one editor, right, for like, 8, 9, 10 writers. So the writers are writing about stories. They give it to the editor. The editor says, okay, change this, change that, get it back to me. They do that. It's also the editor maybe coming up with the subject saying, oh, I want you to go study, go talk to this person and figure out what's going on with, the strike in Paris or blah, blah, blah. And then the writer does the work, the journalism. But then, it's the editor kind of in charge. And it could be that it turns a little bit into that, like that coding turns into a thing where it's like, okay, I want to make it, I'll just take my case, making games. Rather than turning to a person to say, hey, I'd like it if you could develop this, try this feature. Maybe you just say, hey, AI, do this to me. Do this for me. Make me this game. You get it back. You're like, change the colors, add this new feature, do that. It comes back and, maybe. It's a little bit hard to say. Hey, Tebow. Hey, Raphael. Hi, guys. Thanks for coming by. It's good. This is going to be a fun one, actually, to do collaboratively because it's really new to me. Like I'm saying, I don't have a very strong idea. Uh, I'll just lay out my basic idea. My basic idea is I was thinking, uh, let's start with just text APIs. I'm not going to be using the image generation stuff, which is its own thing and is really cool, but I'm not going to be using that here. I just want to do text. It's pretty fairly fast. And I want to use it a little bit like a good old choose your own adventure. Remember those kind of choose your own adventure games? I think in French it's Vous êtes le héros. And there were these old books like this where you would kind of I had these as a kid. It shows you how old I am. Oh, there's not at all like this. Yeah, they were closer to this. They were closer to this sort of thing. You'd have kind of, oh, you can't see my screen. Oops, my bad. It was closer to this sort of thing where you had like, oh no, this is Stranger Things. Okay, so that's why they did it. Okay, that makes sense because Stranger Things also a callback to the 80s. Oh, that's cool. You remember the books. And you had this thing where you would kind of have a description and then you'd have like one or two, a few choices, two or three choices. If you want to go, you're in a dungeon and you meet a creature, he looks scary. What should you do? Should you fight him? Turn to page 6. Should you run away? Turn to page 18, and then you return to the right page and go from there. And you die at some point, and then you try to go back. So I would used to cheat. I used to stick my fingers in all the pages as I was go, so I could go back to it was like the equivalent of like a save point, in the game. But this is normally I think you were supposed to actually start from the beginning each time. Yeah, so that's a little bit my idea. But I'm thinking, hey, it's so cool, AI can do this thing where it just generates the story for you, right? So we can make something that's kind of both personalized and also kind of on the fly come up with new situations. So I wanted to try to make that, okay? So once again, I have very little knowledge of ChatGPT. So this is really kind of, you're starting with me. Please do follow along and let me know. Quick shout out to the music. This is not a friend of mine this week. This is Game Chops who's playing. Game Chops is a cool chill hop, game inspired playlist, a lot of game covers that is free to use on Twitch and YouTube normally. So hopefully we shouldn't get banned. And I thought that today we could use a little chill music because this is scary stuff we're dealing with. All right, so my general idea, let's just start in ChatGPT and then we'll think about how we program this out. My basic idea in the ChatGPT, oh wait, let me check it. I'm gonna just change the text on the bottom of my screen. Well, a second. Oh, how do I do that? Give me 1 second. No, not that. Live coding a game with ChatGPT. All right. There we go. There we go. Sweet. All right, that's the magic of editing. Okay. So my basic idea is what I've seen so far is that often people will start with like a prompt that kind of sets the situation, right? And then it kind of explains what's going on, and then they'll sort of go into it. So my idea is something like this. So we're gonna say something like, let's see. Wait, I actually had an idea. I was playing around a little bit last night, and I had sort of the beginning of something. Wait me 1 sec. Yeah, so I had a text something like this. Okay, this is sort of like my original idea. Okay, like you were telling, here, I'll roll this up. You were telling an interactive story. I don't know, maybe I should say that a different way. Maybe, thank you. Thanks for stopping by, Belzorium. You're telling an interactive story. At each step, you will describe the situation and then suggest 3 options. So I'm thinking actually 2 options is probably enough. 2 options for the player. The story begins and then I thought of like a setting would maybe be like a plane crash or something. So I said, well, the story begins when the player finds themselves in a plane that is going to crash. Okay. And I think probably, yeah, just have 2 options for the player. Well, let's just see what this gives, right? So if we say that, now I have to wait a little bit. Let's see what we got. This is the one problem is kind of, you have to be a little patient. That's why I put on the chill music. You're waking with a start, your head throbbing, and your vision blurred. As you come to, you realize you're in an airplane that is careening out of control. You look around and see that other passengers are screaming in terror. Their faces twisted in fear. What do you do? Hey, not bad actually. It's pretty good. In terms of like the quality of the writing, like you feel like you're in there. Option 1, try to locate and put on a parachute. Option 2, brace for an impact. Okay. So actually, that's actually pretty good. Like, and I think it's interesting. It actually made that list for me. A question that I had is whether or not we might have to tell ChatGPT, like, please, form the options like this, or something like that. I also like that the options are fairly short. Like, it could have said something like an option 1 that was like 6 pages long, but it didn't. So that's pretty cool. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a game in which the player is going to pick one of these, is going to get back to it, and it's going to say maybe they're going to pick option 2. So I will say something like the player picks option 2. Describe what happens, and then propose 2 new options for the player. And maybe I'll say something about how I want the options. Describe, put brackets around each option, like option 1 and option 2. I don't know if this is going to work. I think there's probably some way like that to tell it how to phrase it. Okay. Oh, it's a lot quicker. You quickly buckle your seatbelt and brace for impact, hoping that it will be enough to survive the crash. The plane hits the ground with bone-jarring impact and everything goes dark. When you come to, you find yourself surrounded by wreckage and you realize that you are the only survivor. You look around and see you're in the middle of the jungle. Dense jungle with no sign of civilization in sight. What do you do? Search for wreckage, useful items, begin to explore the jungle. This is actually pretty cool. Actually, I didn't do much work, and already it's doing it. And the bracket thing seemed to work. So let's try it again. Let's just keep seeing how it go. Maybe one more, and then we can start integrating it. So let's see. What do we want to do? Chat. What should we do? Should we search the wreckage or begin exploring the jungle? What would be a good option? Let's let democracy decide this one. What do you think? What do you think? All right, no one's chiming in. I'm just going to pick then. I'm going to say the player picks option 1. Oh, it's option 2. Oh, shoot. I hit the wrong button. Let's go from there. Oh, begin exploring. Sorry. I just saw your thing, and I picked the other one. Actually, no. Hey, it worked out. 4M on, 4M for Arth. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, but thanks for stopping by. And now you have a wait. And this is the part that's a little bit annoying. I kind of wish we didn't have this problem of having to wait. But hey, that's the issue. Actually, I started working a little bit last night. I started trying to download. There's some like versions that are not quite as good as ChatGPT 3.5. ChatGPT 4 is also out, but I haven't paid for it. And I'm not part of the beta whatever. But there are some options that actually run on your local computer, so it can be a lot quicker. But whatever. You take a deep breath and begin exploring the jungle, hoping to find a sense of civilization or health. I love how you take a deep breath. That's really good. I hope that deep breath helps. As you push through the dense foliage, you start to feel a sense of unease. The jungle is full of strange sounds and movements, like my acting, and you begin to wonder if you are truly alone. Suddenly, you hear a rustling sound in the bushes ahead. What do? Approach the sound, investigate, or hide and wait to see what emerges from the bushes. So this is actually pretty cool. Once again, I find this pretty good. Now, another idea I had, which may or may not be necessary, is to kind of once in a while we're going to decide like what happens, or like maybe there's another element of randomness that we decide, kind of independent of the ChatGPT. Like we have some other game mechanic. So like one idea I had is to say something like, okay, what about we introduce an element of like, let's say, for example, that one of the options is bad, so like there's something that happens in the story, like you lose or something like that. So for example, maybe we'd say, the player picks option 1. This was a bad choice and leads to their demise. Okay. Describe what happens and suggest that the player starts again. So I'm thinking this might be like the game over, right? Now, there's no real reason why this particular option would be, but I don't think in the choose your own adventure games there was also like a logic to it. I think it was a little bit random. So I think that's okay. So that's one idea that I was thinking I had, like stop it at some point. You made a bad choice. All right, let's see what happens. This would be the game over situation. In the bad game over. You slowly approach the bushes, trying to peer through the foliage to see what is making the sound. I should wait a little bit to make it more dramatic. Okay. You slowly approach the bushes, trying to peer through the foliage to see what is making the sound. Suddenly, a large carnivorous animal leaps out of the bushes and attacks you. You try to fight. Come on. Come on, go a little faster. Oh. You try to fight it off, but it is too strong and it quickly overpowers you. Your journey has come to an end. It's actually really good. Oh, sorry, an untimely end. An untimely end. Excuse me. I'm sorry. That didn't work out. It's important to be careful in situations like this. And to think that your options. I love how it is invented like it's like morally shaming us for not picking the right thing. Why don't we start again and see if we can make it further this time? Okay. Hey, good job, ChatGPT. That's actually pretty solid storytelling. And I like that there's like a moral that it invented. Of course, there isn't any. Like we just randomly chose that would be the wrong thing. It could have been the right thing. Maybe you file a pack of gold. But I love how somehow it's the player's fault. Okay, so this is interesting. So now we've reached the end of this story, right, for this player. Now, can we go back? I actually don't know. I have no idea if this is going to work. I don't know if we can tell the player to go back. I think it probably can't, I would imagine. But because it has memorized it, maybe it can. So maybe we'll see. The player chooses to start again. And maybe we'll go back to just the previous option. Oh, this is interesting. So we have a choice, right? Here we could go back to just the last step in the story or the previous, or like all the way to the beginning. I don't know what's better. I think either one could be interesting. In some sense, you kind of want to just go back to the previous option. But maybe you... let's see if it can do that. Let's see if it can do like an undo. The player chooses to go back to the previous choice. Describe the situation. And so what else did we say this? And then propose. And propose. We're going to say the same options. Okay. So let's see what happens. Is it capable of understanding that I want to go back to the last one and repeat? And will it give me the same ones or not? Who knows? Interesting. You freeze, unsure of what to do as the rustling sound grows louder. So I thought it was going to repeat and redo this one. The player takes a deep breath and begins to explore in the jungle. Instead, it said something else. You freeze, unsure what to do as the rustling sound grows louder. You quickly weigh your options and decide that caution is the better part of valor. You back away slowly, try not to make any sudden movements. As you retreat, You hear the sound of animal receding into the distance. You breathe a sigh of relief and continue exploring the jungle. What do you do next? Option 1, search for water. Or option 2, look for high ground to get a better view of a surrounding area. Okay, so this is interesting. It's not at all what I thought it was going to do. I was trying to say, give me the same stuff. It didn't. I don't know if it's not capable of that or if I didn't phrase it correctly. And I get the impression that there's a lot of kind of experimentation you have to do with these models in order to figure out how to get like the right kind of response out of it. Because I don't actually really care. I'm just sort of exploring this. I'm just going to go with it, whatever. Let's imagine that worked. Another mechanic I was thinking that could be interesting to try to vary this up is to add in, rather than saying something's good or bad, we can also say something else happens that's like an element that we're going to bring into here. Okay, so like for example, let's say we might pick like a random option between like, I was thinking like, you know those like things like the story cubes or something like that? I don't know if that rings a bell for anyone. There's this kind of these die that you can use to like tell a story, and when you're telling the story, you can as you're telling the story, basically you roll these die and like there's a bunch of different things on them, and that's supposed to inspire you to say something. So, for example, in this image, you know, there's a sheep, and so you have to somehow involve the sheep in your story. You know, it's a way to kind of spark creativity, and a fish, and you know, a pyramid or whatever. So my idea is, okay, can we do this with ChatGPT? Maybe that's a way to kind of keep the story going, you know, in an interesting way, is to us to provide something. So for example, player chooses option 2. Describe what happens. They find themselves in a situation. Or how can we say this? Or the involve, describe what happens. What happens? Describe what happens. And involve a fish in there somewhere. Describe something happens that has to involve a fish. I don't know how to say this. Okay, so we would randomly pick fish, right? Once again, describe, propose 2 options for the player, and put brackets around the options. Around the options. Like maybe, yeah. Like option 1. Or how's actually, I'm still thinking, would it be a better format? Because when I have to parse these options, that's actually a little bit annoying, the option 1, option 2 thing. Maybe we can have it, put the option, maybe we can say put the, oh shoot, what did I do? I can say maybe put, write the option like an HTML link. Oh no, like a markdown link, such as, I think like in markdown you do something like this, like option 1, choice, description of choice. I think let's try that. So here I'm trying 2 different things. I'm trying to get it to put describe the options like markdown, which is going to help me kind of do the parsing. And I'm also asking it to somehow involve like an element, a fixed element in there, like a fish. Okay, you climb up a nearby tree and survey the surrounding area. From your vantage point, you spot a small river running through the jungle. You also notice A large fish. So it did it. It involved the fish. Good job swimming in the river. You realize that this could be an opportunity to catch some food. What do you do? I'm sure it's going to say. 1. And it did it like markdown. Yes. Well, almost. It didn't do the parentheses. Climb down from a tree to catch a nearby fish. Stay in the tree and observe the fish for a while longer to see if there are any other predators. So it's hoping, I think, that you're going to be smarter than the previous time with what it's trying to teach you. Predators there. All right, pretty cool. All right, I think that's pretty good. I didn't totally get where I wanted to get. I didn't get all the way with the markdown link. I think probably I could describe that a little bit better. And yeah, I didn't get, maybe that's the last little bit, but it's not the end. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, 4MON, 4M4RTH. Thank you for stopping by. Take it easy. All right. So I think I'm gonna get on the coding side of this. So I actually did a tiny bit of coding last night. And the idea basically is to, hold on a second. The basic idea that I have so far of the coding is I wrote a quick little thing that just sort of logs in to OpenAI, gives it a prompt, and then kind of handles the chat completion stuff. So the way that the API works for ChatGPT is you give it a series of messages. With each messages, you give it, you say whether it comes from the user or whether it comes from the system, and you kind of accumulate the history and you give it the whole thing. Okay. So we can check this out a little bit later as we go. And my basic idea was to put this, on my little example, I use this in a loop. So it went like this, node serve.mgs, and this was just like one message just to check that it worked. Let's check it still works. The main thing here is to use your API key and carry that through. And if that works, we're going to switch over to ChatGPT and try to have ChatGPT do the coding for us of a little application. Oh, it's so slow. That's the one thing that's annoying about this. All right, maybe it's so slow. I'm going to do another chat thing on the side. Let's try to multitask this. I want to create a node application that is going to present it's going to present like, I was thinking rather than having I could do this using client-side JavaScript, what I would usually do like with a server, but that's a little bit annoying here. It involves some extra work. I was thinking to make it easier myself, I'll just do a server-side application using a web framework in Node. Okay, so let's try to see if it can do that for us. Okay. So create a server-side web application using the let's say using the Express framework. Okay. The application should use nunjux as a templating library. The example application, the application has one route that shows the let's just go with this. Actually, maybe I shouldn't overthink it. Write something and see what happens. Sure, here's an example of a server-side web application using Express Framework and nunjux. Could first create a new directory and navigate to it. National initialize project with npm. Follow the prompts to create package.json. That actually I have installed the required dependency, Express and nunjux, and now it's going to create the code. Hey, not bad. Not bad. So it's setting up two routes for me. It says to start the server. Okay. And it's actually pretty good also about explaining it. Okay. So it says to use Express. Okay, so this is pretty cool. I don't need that much detail. All right, that's fine. Okay. Let's say, okay, good. Please make the, I want these to be asynchronous. Okay. Please make this use the, I want asynchronous. That's a lot of code. Yeah, it is a lot of code. Please make this use async functions. Actually, first I'll try the first thing. Make it into a module. Please make this example work in a what's it called? Oh shoot, it's something modules. It's like ES module. I think it's called ECMAScript modules. Oh, what do they call them? The modules. In English it has a name. I think it's ECMAScript ES modules. They just call it ES modules? Yeah, I think it's called ES modules. Please make this example work as an ES module instead of a common GS module. Also, use async functions instead of synchronous, which I have to spell. Functions. How do you spell synchronous? Is that it? It's one of those words that just always looks wrong. Sure thing. Here's an updated version. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so it updated the example. Now it did the right thing. It used nice. It used async. In this example, we're using ES modules to import the required dependencies to async function to handle root callbacks. We use the create require from the module package to create a require function that is used to load the views directory. We set nunjux as the view engine for Express to find roots. Nice. Okay, and it's even gonna make some code for me. Hey, not bad, huh? Not bad. All right, let's do this. Now, you could, to be honest, you could probably find this all like as a tutorial online. So it's not super impressive in a sense, but I really like that it was able to kind of react to it. That's probably something that's pretty cool. Like normally you would then go back to Google, search something, and find like, okay, how do I deal with async functions? Oh, async functions, you integrate it this way. It might take a little while. Here it's kind of it's integrating all that knowledge together. That's pretty sweet. So let's do what it said. npm install, what it was? Express nunjux USM. I don't know why USM is necessary, but I'm not 100% sure it is. Let's do at least express and nunjux. What is USM actually? No, GS, no, npm SM. I'm not sure what SM is. Oh, it's a module loader. I'm not sure. I feel like you don't need that actually, but so I'm gonna try it without it. Okay, so I installed it. Then I'm gonna create this into what they called. What file did it say? app.js. Okay. Now I don't want app. I want app.mgs. I wanted this to be a module. I like how it put comments in there and stuff. It's pretty sweet. And then it said to create an index file. Let's do that. It doesn't. Oh, create a new views folder. New create index.html. Up and create about HTML. So here I'm just literally following its descriptions. It didn't say how to start it. Maybe I'll ask. I'll say thanks. How do you test the app? I'm just imagining I really don't know anything. To test the app, you can run it using Node.js and then access it in your web browser. First, start the app by running the following command in your terminal. Node experimental modules, OS module spec by resolution equals node app. I don't think half of that you really need. I'm not sure why you would say that. That might be a little bit old. I don't think you need experimental modules anymore. But anyway, this could be something that used to be necessary for Node at like an earlier version or something like that. Which I guess you could say that might be a little bit of a critique of ChatGPT, but it could just be it's, I know that it's a little bit, things are a little bit out of date. Plus, actually, that's the thing with the internet. When you look around the internet, you always find out of date tutorials and information, so it might make sense. Okay, so I can stop it. I get it. In fact, yeah, so we can say node, in this case, it's called app.mgs. Server listening on port 3000. Good. And it says go to this web browser, which is indeed is what we want. And we have welcome my app. Not bad. It's working. And it said we can also go to about. And it should work. And it does indeed. Cool. Okay. So now we have that. So now what I would like to do is to have it describe 3 options. So this part, I think I'm going to have it describe it here. I'm going to say, I don't think I really feel like having it describe how to do the integration with OpenAI, because I feel like I can do that part really easily. So maybe I'll just have it say, how do I describe like a layout with text on the top and then 2 text boxes back to back, two card looking things on the bottom. Okay, so say, okay, thanks. I actually don't know if you have to thank the OpenAI each time. Is that necessary or not? I just feel maybe it's nice. Okay, create an HTML template using nunchucks that has 2 options. No, that has text on the top followed by 2 options. 2 cards side by side. The cards should have a shadow effect. To make shadow effect. Clicking on the cards, clicking on a card should submit a request to the web app that will send a new page. Maybe I can make this even. Clicking on a card should submit a request to the web app. Card should have a shadow effect. Each card has a number, either 1 or 2. Clicking on a card should submit a request to the web app with that number. The response will be a new page. Okay. Let's try that. So here I'm trying to get it to do like the CSS and a little bit like the layout, you know, which I imagine is going to use CSS. I would do that. And it also should get it to do the to handle like an event handler, so that when you click it, it does something. Network error. What the? Wah, wah, wah. Regenerate. Rah, rah. Ah, good. It woke up. Sure. Here's an example of an HTML template that meets the requirements. All right. Come on, baby. Give me this to me. Okay, so it's putting some CSS. That's kind of strange you would do that right in the page. Normally you'd put that in its own file, but that's okay. Especially for something like this. Has card container. Ah, it did use Flexbox. That's cool. Good job. I was about to say. I wasn't sure I was going to. Sweet. You know, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It did that. It did the whole box shadow thing. You know, not bad. Did the pointer. It's doing a lot of work. That's kind of cool. You know, I have to say, like as a developer, I would tend to like not do that part first. You know, like first I would do the rest. It's kind of cool to have a to have it do this thing. You know, for you. So what did it do for the code? It got well, this was better. It just had a network error again. It's annoying about network errors. Let's see how far we can get with that. Isn't it too hard to see ChatGPT works for you? Yeah, it isn't too hard. It's actually, it works pretty well, I have to say. It's a little bit scary. It's true. All right, let's try this instead of our template. Okay, so we called it my app. Let's call it let's call it a game. Say choose your own adventure game. I'll just it's kind of a shame. I wish I knew what it was gonna finish it. I think we'll just say regenerate. I don't know. In the meantime, we'll just have it finish like that. Network error again. Okay. All right. Localhost. What was port 3000? I think. Welcome to my app. I think I just need to restart it. There's a way to make it restart. I just don't remember. Hey, actually, it's pretty good. Card 1, card 2. Huh? Not bad with the drop shadows and stuff. Not bad. All right, let's go for that. So that's good. Now, unfortunately, we don't know what it wanted to do with this thing here. It did have an idea of submit form 1 and submit form 2, and that would then, I think, create a form called submit that then name equals. Okay, so I think it's probably going to be choice. I'm going to try to just finish it myself. Input dot value equals, I think it would be number, and then it would be form.submit or something like that, I think. I'll just try to finish it. I think it's something like that. Let's try it. If that works, I'm gonna have to again quit it and start it again. Form submission canceled because the form is not connected. Connected to what? What are you talking about? Connected. What do you mean? Form is not connected? Well, let's ask ChatGPT. Now, typically, I would just use, I would just Google this, right? But, you know, we're trying to use ChatGPT. But we can't. Just create a new chat. What does the error forms mean? Of course, just Google this. What does that mean? Let's say, let's see what we get. Typically, you just Google it, and that this one's saying that you have to use prevent default. The form issues application remove the form from the page while the browser is still processing the event. Okay. So that's what I get if I quickly Googled it. Here, if I wait on ChatGPT, it says error message usually occurs when you transmit a form. There's no connection established in the form of the server. So you can have a missing or incorrect form action URL, a missing or incorrect form method, or a problem with an error connection. And then there was a problem with error connection, which is annoying. In this case, we had the method, we had the URL. All right, let's try to say this another way. Okay, the following code has an error, leads or has an error. I'm going to give it, shoot. What's the error? It's form submission canceled because the form is not connected. Doobadoo has an error. What is the problem? Yeah, I know. I didn't finish. So why does it say Python? It's not Python. It's just JavaScript. The issue with the code is that the form element that is created using document.createElement form is not appended to the HTML document. Therefore, the form is not connected to the document. And when the form.submit method is called, the error message, form submission canceled, because the form is not connected, is displayed. That's actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Like that, you did some reasoning and explained it. It's true that's very different than how I typically do it. Like typically you would search on Google, try to look around until you found someone that had a similar kind of problem. And hopefully a similar kind of solution. Or maybe you wouldn't find it that way. You'd find it from reading the documentation. And you'd be like, oh, the form, you'd notice in the documentation, watch out, the form has to be connected. So now it fixed the bug for me and it found it. Sweet. Good job. Impressive. Okay, so then all right. Good job, ChatGPT. I'm impressed. All right, let's try it. Hup. Okay, not found. That's normal. That's totally normal. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, and then when I come back, I'm going to try to hook up these two elements. So we have the Choose Your Own Adventure game with our new web application that it coded, and hopefully we can have something cool from there. Once again, I hope you're enjoying the music, and I'll be back in a minute. All right, and I'm back. Okay, let's see if we can do this now. We have both our elements, right? We have our ChatGPT interface that sends requests to the ChatGPT. We have and some ideas of our prompts, right? Like what it could be. It's maybe not perfect, but it's not bad. And then we, on the other hand, we have now ChatGPT created a little form for us and corrected a bug that it found in its own text because of network errors. And now we just have to kind of glue all the pieces together. Okay, so let's do that. So first thing I'm going to do is bring in the code from first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the code that I have over on Serve that actually does the bit about the interactive story, and I'm going to copy that over to my app. Okay. Here's my app on the left. Create. It's actually funny because OpenAI actually wrote more documentation than I did. Create OpenAI. Connect OpenAI. Okay. Initialize prompts. Message history. So this is going to be a single player game for the time being, okay? I'm going to imagine that there's no multiple people. Okay, so let's go back to, let's see, what do I have here? I have you're telling an interactive story. At each step, you describe the situation and then suggest, I think it was 2 options for the player. The story begins when the player finds themselves in a plane that's going to crash. Maybe let's change the setting. What's an exciting setting that could be other than the plane is going to crash? And ideally, we could even open that up as an option at the very beginning. You know, you pick like which do you want to which do you want to pick. We could do that. Maybe like what's an exciting thing when the player story begins when the player maybe we'll say is looking for hidden treasure on I'm trying to think of like kind of an Indiana Jones situation, like looking for treasure on a abandoned island, on a deserted island where there might be ghosts. I'll just let in there some hints. Ghosts or dangerous creatures. Or other dangerous creatures. Ghosts are dangerous creatures. Okay, then I create the history. I set the view engine. I define the routes, the home page. Okay, and then what we're gonna send here. Sorry, I'm just thinking. Sorry, this is not very interesting. I'm just thinking whether I should start by having you press start before you actually get into the story, or whether we just start right into it. Because it might be a little bit slow otherwise the very first time. Yeah, it might be a little bit slow the very first time. So I think const messages equals no. Put that in. Okay, so I think on the home page, which I'm gonna have over here, index, I'm actually not gonna. So I'm gonna give it two options here. Title. Title we actually don't need. We can give it. Oh yeah, actually, let's give it the title. What did it use originally? Brackets. No. Didn't use the title. Oh, it used an about maybe. Yeah, no. Okay. So I'm gonna have just two stories. So we have the. Oh shoot. Wrong message. Ah. So I have this one. So this would be island. And we'll give it a second one. The other one would be the, let's see, the plane crash. What's some other stories, kind of classics? Oh, let's ask ChatGPT. What am I saying? Why? Think for yourself. What are some exciting story scenarios or a choose your own adventure book. I'm outsourcing my creativity. There are countless exciting story scenarios. Or choose your own adventure book. Here are a few ideas to get you started. Time travel adventure. Imagine going back in time. A different era. Like ancient Egypt, medieval Europe, or the Wild West. You can encounter historical figures, solve mysteries, and change the course of history. That's good. Okay, I'm just going to take that one. Hup. Okay. Time. So I think we just have to rephrase it. Time travel. The story is called Time Travel Adventure. It involves going back in time to different eras like ancient Egypt, medieval Europe, or the Wild West. The player could encounter historical figures, solve mysteries, and change the course of history. Okay. Did it come up with other ones? Space exploration? Cool. So, okay, let's do space exploration too. Screw it. Screw my island one. It's actually better. I'll stop it. It's better than mine. Space. So the story is called Space Exploration. It is set in the distant future and sends the player on a space adventure to explore different and make decisions to affect the outcome. Oh, I like that. Okay, so that's kind of the setting, right? I'll say settings. Oh yeah, there's no stories. Okay, it's fine. So when I start the game, I'm going to have it pick. I'm going to say choose your story is the title. And then the options are the stories. Okay, and then over here, on index, I'm going to have the title, and here I'm going to put in the options 0 dot what did we give it? We're giving it the here we're giving a map. Actually, I'll stick to that. Yeah, I'm going to give it each option with a description. So here it's going to say 1 is going to be options. 1, it's options. Oh, sorry. I'm a little sleepy, guys. Sorry. I'm kind of slowing down here. I'm blanking on really dumb things. I just want to provide 2 options. Why is this so hard for me to think about? I'm trying to think of what's going to happen in the other option as well. So we see. In general, we're going to give it 2 options. I think it'd probably be easier if it was an array. Okay. So I think at the very beginning, we're going to give it not stories, but we're going to give it options, it's going to be the two options are, it's going to be like this, ID, space, description, sorry, space adventure. And the second option is ID time description what was it? Time travel and time travel. Right? And so over here, we're going to just show options of 0.description. And we're going to submit. Options.0.id. Does it not like it? Property assignment expected. I think that just is because it is expecting that this is JavaScript, but in fact it's a nunchucks form. See? Okay. And then it's going to submit a choice. And when we do choice, we're going to define a route. Okay, I think I'm probably going to have new routes, one to begin the story and one to continue the story. We're going to give it the route. Route step start story. So it's going to give it okay. It's going to submit the start story. Then in my next route, it's going to do continue story. So continue to, what do you do? And on this one, we're going to do the request. Oh, we have to do start story first. When we start the story, we're going to create the messages. I'm going to create the starting prompt. Okay, so we're going to hear write console.log. The player chose story. We're going to give it the story that it chose, which is res.choice. Okay. Oh no, it's requec.data. I think it's data choice. Yeah, let's ask. In Express on Node.js, how do I get the data sent to a sent to the server by a simple HTML form. I should put a question mark in there. Oh, so I have to do all this thing. Okay, so I'll do this. Yep. No, I already imported it. I have to do this now. Oh, yeah, no. To import body parser. Okay, so by the way, this create require thing I never actually needed to get rid of that. Okay, now to get the data, we can get it like rec.body.name. Okay, that's pretty good. Rec.body.choice. So the player chooses the story rec.body choice. So we can then create the starting prompt by including the stories of rec.body.choice. So that's going to kind of create the prompt. We'll just print it out to make sure that we're right about this. Starting prompt. Because since we're not chatting with GPT anymore, we're going to have trouble with this. So we're going to say messages now is going to have start at the starting prompt. Okay. Then we're going to do the call to ChatGPT. Which is here. So init message history. Okay. Create ChatGPT completion, last message, and then we're awaiting the choice. So console.log, awaiting ChatGPT, which is probably gonna have to wait for a while. And we're gonna reply with ChatGPT answered with okay. And now we're going to re-upload the thing. So what do you do? And we're going to give it the two options that we have to now parse out of this. So we're going to have two options. Hey, let's ask ChatGPT to it. Okay. Given text like what did it do? Airline crash? Ah, shoot, I lost the history. Oh! Come on! Shoot! Ah, here we go. Oh, by the way, this is a prompt. And I forgot to describe, put brackets around each options. we say? Okay, so we're going to send it the two options. So we now have to parse it out. Let's see if I can do that. Given text, like, how the following. How do I parse the options in an array? Given text like the following. How do I parse the options from the string in JavaScript? Tell it so that I obtain an array like options equals approach the send investigate. Oh no. You can't cancel easily. It's kind of annoying. Like you're kind of stuck. It's a little bit frustrating sometimes when you can't cancel the text. I don't know if I should refresh or. Well, normally I would do something like a split or something like that. Like I would do something like this. Let's say. Yeah, I'll take the text myself. I'll put it in a web thing. I'll say like that. Yep. Come on. If that's my string, I should be able to say string dot split. You could usually do a regular expression or do a split. Split it on. This is like the really cheap way to do it. It's not really a great one. Better way to do regifs. Oh yeah, actually. Oh. Well, that's split one or the other. Actually, I want one or the other. No. One or the other is what in regex explained. What did I answer? Ugh. Regex filter. Good old Indiana. Yeah, I think it was something like that. It would be like string.match all. And then you give it a value, so it would be something like, oh, I think it might be oh yeah, this option, any text, followed by back, followed by the text you want to match. And we have to get global. I think it just needs a G at the end. String match all. Okay, that didn't really work. Exec on string. Okay, that kind of worked. Let's see. It gave me an text where I got just the approach to sound to investigate. I didn't get the second one. Why did I not get the second one? Is it exec or is it match all? If the match succeeds, the record is an array and updates the last index. Yeah, we should have it in a match. So what did I do wrong? Did I escape all the characters? I think so. Okay, if I just did that, I only get option 1. That's weird, I should get option 2 because I think in my string I had both. Is it the exec you have to exec multiple times? Finding successive matches. Oh, if your sex is G, you can find the exact to find successive matches in the same string. Ah, okay, I get it. So I have to call it multiple times. Unless, since I know there's 2 of them, I can just do it like this. Twice. No. Not at all. No. Screw you. No. No. Why? What's wrong with that? What did I do wrong? I don't know. This is annoying me. You know, I think I'm just gonna simplify my life. What if I just made it into colons? So annoying. Sorry, this is not a good solution. I just don't have the patience right now to argue with, deal with regular expressions. If I made it to like this. Okay. Could I do? I could do string dot split. this character and get. But then I have option 2 involved. Okay, so what if I split on that and new lines? Can I split on one or the other? I think I can. Okay. All right, so if that works, I should be able to get. So I think then if I do that, I say answers, deck. So answers of the last one. Oh, I think in new JavaScript you can do that. -1. Well, anyway, it would be the last one, the next, and the next last. Okay. So const. So I'm going to take the options. Options. Split on colon, like I did here. And options, R, split of. ID 0, which is split, sorry, description, I think it's description I put in the split of split dot length -1 -3. Yeah. And the other one, which would be we give it a description as well. Text is message.content. Which makes me think actually I don't have a content for the thing. Okay. And then the root is continue story again. Like we had previously. Step. All right. Now, if we get this to work, we need to add in our text form, we need to add also a box somewhere where we put our description. There, they had a card container. See, I don't know if I should put it here. H2, I'll just put it here. Text. And do we have text over here? In our very first one. Which story would you like? Okay. So let's try it. Okay, so far I say, which story do you like, Space Adventure or Space Adventure? That's not great. I think I think we shouldn't give him twice the Space Adventure story. Let's see, what did I do wrong there? It should be time or space or time. So I must have messed up in my form. Ah, here we go. Sorry, I gotta restart here. I don't have the auto restart. Okay, which is like space travel or time travel. Okay, so let's say we pick time travel, but time is not defined on HTML development. Click. That sucks. Oh, right. I forgot that, in fact, because this is a... Oops. Okay. Time. Start story not found. That sucks. Why is start story not found? Oh, because we need its post. Now, that's annoying. It just keeps giving the same one. Wait, hold on. Start. Okay, so we chose this story. Space-time travel. Oh, I think I just put the same thing twice in a row. Yeah, that's dumb. Okay, this is start story. Alright, this is the one I have to duplicate. Up. Okay. So the first one, start story. I say, the player chooses a story. Da-da, you're telling, okay. We create the first thing. We give it the starting prompt. We give the messages. We wait ChatGPT. We give it a message. We say what it answered with. We parse the data, and we say, what do you do? And we say, continue story. Then the continue story, the player chooses the option. Hold up. And then we say, okay, continuing prompt is the player chose the option backed up by choice. And then what did I put after that? Describe the situation and propose 2 new options for the player. So we're going to set not to put brackets. Put a colon after each option, like option 1 and option 2. Now I'm going to copy that text about the colons. Why do I have twice the starting prompt? Okay, I actually don't need this one. Okay. Okay. And then we say prompt. Prompt. We're going to add to the message story the role user, which was the last message. Oh, shoot. Oh, this is annoying what I did. I screwed up. Oh, this is frustrating. I have to give it the entire description of what the user chose. I have to say, oh no, I don't. I don't get to say the player chose the option 2. It's okay. Okay. It's all right, actually. The user said prompt. So we said dot push. So we can just add that to the history. Now awaiting ChatGPT, we send it the thing. And once again, we say ChatGPT answer with whatever. We split it again. We say what should we do? Continue story. The options this time, however, are not the story options. They're the options that we got back. And we're going to say 1 and 2 to make it line up with what the text is. Yeah, we could do way better than this. First of all, the parsing I'm doing is horrible. And we can do way better, but let's just, I think it should work, at least enough to try it out. It's always a humbling experience, huh, to code live like this when you don't have a lot of time. All right, it's time to travel again. Okay, so now it said, oh, it answered. You step into a strange machine and suddenly find yourself hurtling through time. You emerge in a dusty marketplace in ancient Egypt. People are bustling around you, buying and selling goods. Above you, the hot sun beats down on a cloudless sky. Option 1, explore the marketplace and try to blend in. Option 2, look for a way to return the present. So we should have parsed this so that we didn't have the option 1, option 2, but whatever. Let's explore the marketplace. So we said the player chose the option 1. The player chose option 1. As you wander through the marketplace, you marvel at the exotic goods on display, spices, textiles, and works of art that seems to glow in the sunlight. You try to blend in, but your modern clothes and the backpack are clogging us with stares. Suddenly, a group of rough-looking men approach you. Option 1, try to communicate with them using gestures and hand signals. Option 2, run away as quickly as possible. All right, we got people in the chat wanna play with me now. Let's see. It's kind of cool. Have fun. Something that works. Let's say try to communicate. I send off the message. And we're waiting ChatGPT. Once again, it's the most frustrating thing is the time. Is just the lag. This would be so cool if it was fast. Like if we had it at a local, and it's totally doable. Like ChatGPT is huge, so you actually can't run this on hardware. You know, it requires. I mean, on commodity hardware, you need like some big server somewhere. But with you know, you have these models you can download and play with. I was doing this last night with a model called, I'll just do this while we're waiting. There's a model called Alpaca, I think, LLM, which is pretty cool. And it's like, they basically took Meta's, if I understand correctly, they took Meta's version and they made it a little bit like ChatGPT. Some Stanford students did, and it called so Meta's version is called Llama, and Stanford turned it into something called Alpaca. I don't totally get exactly what happened, but I think they basically took it and they kind of modified it and made like a simplified version, and you can download it, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I was able to run it on my computer the other night. So I think this is totally doable to do locally as well, which is great because ChatGPT is taking forever. It's annoying. I don't know if we should wait or we should give up or what. I don't know. Well, while we're waiting, let me just talk about what I would probably do next. I think if I was lazy ChatGPT, yes, I know. I think what I probably would do next is kind of enter in some of those elements that we were talking about, like on the game design part. Be like, okay, we have something that's clearly able to tell a story. And actually, I didn't really try too hard, but I think you can get it to tell it in different styles. Like you can say, like, make this moment exciting, make this moment sad. Maybe tell it as if it was, back in the 1800s. You could give it a setting. You can make the narration. It'll adapt pretty well. So I think we could probably do something kind of interesting where you, like I said, you kind of like draw on elements, and you add like a random element at each time. And then, once again, so to say something is the end or not. All right, I'm frustrated. Let's try it again. Let's stop it. Run it again. Yeah, we can't do that. We have to start again. Let's do Space Adventure this time. Okay. You are a member of a space exploration team that has just landed on a planet that has been previously unexplored. Everything seems normal. This does not go all, by the way, with the music that I'm playing right now. Everything seems normal, but as the team is venturing deeper into the planet, you suddenly hear a loud noise. You look around and see a massive alien creature heading towards your team. Option 1, run back to the spaceship immediately and take off before the creature gets any closer. Option 2, stay and fight the creature using any weapons you have in hand. So somehow my parsing gets screwed up, and it doesn't say what it is. But I don't know. What should we do? What should we do? I'd say let's fight. Come on. We're never done being scared. Stay and fight the creature. I'm not scared of you, alien. So I did say the player chose the option 2. Oh, the parsing messed up because there was an extra new line in there. Yeah, once again, you'd have to tell ChatGPT how to parse it. I mean, how to give the output in a way that's much easier to parse. Come on, ChatGPT. Did I like go over my quota or something like that? Or like, what's up? Why is it so slow? Yeah. Like I said, this would be really cool to do it locally. I think that's probably going to be my next step on this is try to have it running on a local server so you can actually kind of mess around with this a lot better. Even if the quality is not quite as good, I think you would make up for it by being faster and make something that's really fun. And unfortunately, I think that might be it for me. I'm getting tired of waiting on ChatGPT. To finish up, I'd just like to say, let me switch back to me. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. I hope you found that enjoyable. It was definitely fun for me to try to explore what ChatGPT can do and what we can do with these AIs. I think once again, this is really, totally the tip of the iceberg. This is nothing. Wait, it worked. Okay, wait. We got to finish the story. You and your team draw your weapons and prepare to fend off the massive alien creature. It charges towards you with incredible speed, but you are able to fend it off temporarily with your weapons. However, the creature is incredibly agile, and you soon realize you are outnumbered and outmatched. Option 1, retreat to the spaceship and take off before the creature gets any closer. Option 2, attempt to communicate with the creature and see if a peaceful resolution is possible before fighting. I don't know, man. Can you deal with... Can we negotiate? Do we negotiate with aliens, or we just fight to the death? Actually, we don't even have an option to fight in here. Okay, let's try to communicate with the creature. Next time, we will find out what happens. Oh, wait, it worked. Wait, that's weird. It worked here, but not on my... Oh no, here we go. You and your team put your weapons away and attempt to communicate with the alien creature. At first, it seems the creature is unintelligent and uninterested in communication, but eventually you're able to establish a basic form of communication through hand gestures and body language. So ChatGPT is actually a little bit optimistic. Option 1, try to learn more about the creature and its culture by exploring the area and observing its behavior. Or option 2, offer the creature a gift or trade in exchange for information about the planet. What do you guys think? What do y'all think out there in chat land? I'm thinking 2. Tebow says 2. Yeah, I'm thinking gifts. That's pretty solid, right? I mean, I think any creature understands gifts. Yeah, let's give a gift. All right, let's do it. Thank you, Tebow. Give the creature a gift or trade in exchange. All right. And we will find out. Ah, hey, speed up. You and your team offer the alien creature a gift of some supplies and technology that you carried with you on the mission. The creature seems pleased and accepts the offer, and in return, it provides you with valuable information about the planet and any potential dangers your team may face. Option 1, ask the creature if it's possible to establish a trade agreement. I feel like we're entering like civilization or something like that. You know, we're establishing trade routes or something. Option 2, try to establish a peaceful relationship between the creature and your team and see if there's an opportunity for further cooperation. I don't know where they're going with this. Food. Yeah, where's the food? Oh, there is no food though. Why do you say food, Raphael? There's a food? Trade with you, the aliens attacked you. That's true. It does. I don't know if it makes sense or not. I feel like option 2 is very boring. But option 1 is also very boring. I don't know. Once again, I think it would be cool to have like those elements, you know, where like you kind of have to direct the scenario a little bit, you know, like involve, you know, involve something that's very exciting, involve something that's very scary. ChatGPT is a pacifist. You might be right, actually. It might be I don't know. I bet we could get it to be angry. I bet if you give it the right prompt, because it did digest the entire internet, which includes lots of people who are very angry. That's a lot of what people write on the internet is very angry things. Now, whether or not they're actually violent or not is one thing, but definitely, they definitely talk like they're strong. I feel like soon we're going to be doing trade agreements. It's very strange. It's going to be waiting. Come on, wait. Chat GPT. Chat GPT. Come on, Chat GPT. This is the slowest story ever. You know, it's funny. I actually could imagine someone just like writing it. You know, like it's that slow. You could imagine there's just someone on the other end who's been like, oh, I'm gonna write it. It is a good bedtime story. It's true. It's true. All right, let's give it one more minute. One more minute. Come on, countdown. You can do it, ChatGPT. You can do it. 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 Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh. We're ending on a cliffhanger. Will we get the bedtime agreement? All right, whatever. I'm giving up. But I think that's kind of cool. Like I said, I think next time I'm going to try to do a local version of this to avoid the lag. And then obviously we have to improve the parsing, make that way better, get the options right. And then I think enter in some cool elements, you know, where you're kind of directing the story, like exciting moments that you kind of feed in there and stuff like that. And I think that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys had a good time. I hope it was interesting. I definitely learned a lot. And I'm interested about exploring ChatGPT and other AIs much further down the line. If you're interested in us, Play Curious, please do check us out. We are available all over the internets. You can find us on our website, playcurious.games. You can check out the games we've made. We're working on a game right now called CRISPR Crunch. That's what I'm doing when I'm not playing around with ChatGPT. You can also check out this stream by subscribing. And if you subscribe, that's cool if you follow us because you'll get a little notification when we go live. And that's always cool. You can also check out, what do I want to say? Raphael is streaming on Tuesdays. I'm streaming on Thursdays at the same time. So 3 p.m. here in France. That makes 9 a.m. Eastern time in the US and super early like West Coast. If you're And if you want to check out on 3:30 on Tuesdays, Raphael streams science games. So that's really cool. He's streaming Soccer Bond. You got some Electric Shocktopus. Lots of cool games going on. I don't know what he's doing next week, but it's always something fun. So yeah, tune in next time. And until then, take it easy. Bye.